Hey, everybody. Welcome to today's LinkedIn Live, where we are going to be talking about leveraging LinkedIn in your job search. And so I would like to go ahead and get started today by having you introduce yourself in the comments. Let us know where you're from, even maybe what type of role that you're looking for, so that others in your network and who are also attending the event can meet you. And you never know who knows someone who knows someone. So let's go ahead and do that. Today, I'm going to be sharing 7 of my absolute favorite strategies, features, settings, and hacks with you to help you optimize your profile for more recruiter views and interview insights. So today's LinkedIn Live is all about how to leverage LinkedIn to attract opportunities to you instead of chasing them down. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jessica Hernandez. I'm an 8-time certified career strategist, executive resume writer, the president of Great Resumes Fast. I've been a LinkedIn top voice for the last 5 years, since 2020. LinkedIn regularly invites me on the platform to teach its members how to better leverage LinkedIn and all the tools, features, strategies, settings that they offer to help you in your job search. Each time I've been a guest on LinkedIn, one of their career talks, it's been the most watched and highest rated program. I even once broke the streaming platform because so many people were trying to get on live at the time. I say that not to brag. I say that so you know that I know what I'm talking about when it comes to LinkedIn. I've been doing this a long time. It's my absolute favorite topic to teach on and to share strategies about. So welcome today. I can't wait to share these tested and proven LinkedIn strategies with you. I do want to start today by sharing a couple of the frustrations that I've been hearing recently from job seekers. A client recently told me, my resume is not being reviewed. When I see a role, I feel 100% confident that I meet the qualifications outlined in the job description. Despite this, I've applied to over 60 jobs without securing a single interview. Another job seeker told me, I've applied to over 700 different jobs and haven't received a single interview. And another said, my biggest challenge with LinkedIn is that employers respond with interview opportunities less than 0.025% of the time. Some of job seekers' biggest frustrations surround a lack of responses to applications, fake jobs, or jobs they've seen reposted over and over again that they've already applied to, scams, scammers, getting hiring managers to respond to messages, and visibility with recruiters, among other things. So what I would like to do is address 2 misunderstandings that I often see with job seekers in how they're using LinkedIn and the platform. Many job seekers I know view LinkedIn as one of 2 things, either a online resume placeholder or a job board like Indeed. But in fact, LinkedIn was not created to be either one of these things. Its primary purpose when it was built was to be a place to connect professionally, to network, to build relationships, and then to advance your career. So if you're logging onto LinkedIn and you're using it to house your resume, you're scrolling the feed, but you're not engaging with the posts that you see. Or maybe you're using Easy Apply to apply to jobs, but you're not doing much else. You're missing out on the true purpose of the platform. And this is probably why you're not getting a lot of traction in your job search. What most job seekers don't realize is that right now in 2025, in this market, with all of its challenges in hiring slowdowns and all of that, what most job seekers don't realize are 2 things. One, 50 to 65% of recruiters, depending on which survey data you're referencing, have stopped posting jobs on LinkedIn altogether and are instead sourcing candidates from LinkedIn like it's one giant candidate database. They're essentially searching for and contacting job seekers about roles that aren't even posted, that they're not posting on the platform. That's the hidden job market that's happening on LinkedIn. One of the reasons why they're doing this is because whenever they do post a job, AI applications and AI programs are just inundating them with thousands of applications per role within 24 hours, and there's no way that they can keep up and go through all of them. And so instead, they're opting to just use the filters or the LinkedIn Recruiter platform itself to go in and search for candidates. And then the second piece is that another thing LinkedIn job seekers just have no idea is going on behind the scenes is that LinkedIn uses all kinds of signals and spotlights to communicate to recruiters on the back end whether a candidate is qualified, is a good fit for the role, whether they're connected to the company, whether they're interested in the role, and whether you're moderately or highly likely to respond if they contact you about an opening or an opportunity. Those signals that get sent to recruiters are based on a number of factors that most job seekers are completely unaware of. Things like your engagement on the platform, whether you're actively commenting on posts, your responses to in-mail messages if a recruiter sends you an in-mail message, whether you've updated your profile recently, the company you work for, how long you've worked at that company, if that company currently has layoffs going on, who your connections are, whether you're connected to people at the company, whether you've interacted with the company page or company content on LinkedIn, and if you have certain settings and features turned on in your profile settings on your profile. If you don't know about these settings and features, then you're missing out on being visible to recruiters who are searching for somebody with your exact experience. And you're not positioning yourself adequately enough for the role that you're applying to. So, what I hope to do today is shed light on the things that you can and should be doing on LinkedIn to increase your visibility with recruiters who are searching for someone like you, while also capitalizing on those tools, features, and settings on LinkedIn that are going to make your applications stand out to recruiters. They're going to put those spotlights on your profile. They're going to signal to recruiters, hey, this person is highly likely to respond if you reach out to them about this job. That way, instead of you kind of going in blind, getting lost in the noise and the sea of other applicants and candidates, never being found or looked at, you're actually going to be sought after, discovered, reached out to, interviewed, and offered the job. So let's start today with 3 things that you can very easily do on your profile to dramatically increase your visibility with recruiters. And what I want you to do is check your profile views before you do these things and then after you do these things, because they should shoot right up. So give me just a second. I'm going to share this with you guys. This is from someone who attended my last LinkedIn Live in the spring. She took the strategies that I'm sharing with you in today's LinkedIn Live. She applied only one of them, and she saw her profile views shoot up within a week. So this stuff works if you use it, if you apply it. It's not theory, it's not philosophy, it's actionable strategies that you can apply to your job search. All right, so the first one that I'm sharing with you is I want you to optimize your headline with your target job title. That's the one you want now, next, not past job titles, the one that you're actually going after right now. Then you're going to add 3 high priority hard skills and a personal branding statement. The reason why we do this is because your headline and those skills weigh very heavily in search result placement when recruiters are searching for candidates. Very similar to how a website is optimized for search result placement on Google. Those websites that have all of the right keywords and have all the right content in them place higher on Google search results. They're on the first page or they're in the top 3 search results. Your LinkedIn profile works the exact same way. Recruiters are running searches by target job title, by hard skills that are required for the role. They're looking for candidates who match those skills. So if you have those skills in your headline and you have that target job title in your headline, you're going to place higher in the search results that come up on LinkedIn. Now, I've shared with you here an example of what one of my clients' LinkedIn headline looks like to give you an idea. CEO, Spartan 5S Solutions. This is Carlos. He's been a client of mine for the last 10 years. We've worked with him since he was in the military. And he started with a $40,000 military career. He transitioned into supply chain and logistics. And now he is the CEO of 12 companies, as a group of companies. But you can see here that we have used his job title, CEO. You don't have to use the company name. He does because he's the CEO and that works for him. Yours might be digital media specialist, digital marketing specialist. It might be human resources business partner. It might be program manager. It might be project manager. Whatever your job title is of the position that you want now, you're going to put that first. Then you're going to follow it up with 3 high priorities. So these are like the 3 most important skills to your target role, and they need to be hard skills, not soft skills, not people skills. We're talking about hard skills, professional, academic, and technical skills most relevant to your target role. So here he has logistics consulting, SME logistics, Lean, Six Sigma certified, and then he has a personal branding statement, and that's so he stands out from other people with the same job title in the same industry and with similar hard skills. So you always want to be adding a differentiator there. All right, so also while we're here, I'm going to show you guys this. I hear a lot of job seekers say LinkedIn doesn't work anymore. And I know this is kind of like down our rabbit trail, but here's just a few key insights from my LinkedIn Unlocked course that I share with my students about how effective LinkedIn still is right now. 67% of recruiters believe that professionals hired through LinkedIn are of higher quality compared to those found through other methods. 94% of recruiters regularly use LinkedIn to find candidates. Karen Kimbra, chief economist for LinkedIn, 8 people are hired every minute on LinkedIn, and 75% of people who recently changed jobs use LinkedIn to find new opportunities. I have pages of stats like this, similar to this, from all different kinds of sources that prove the effectiveness of LinkedIn still in 2025. So there is hope, guys. It's not just a platform of reposted jobs, fake jobs, ghosting recruiters, and scammers. I really want to give you that little bit of hope there, that there is still so much you can do on the platform in your job search. All right, so back to our 3 things you can very easily do to dramatically increase your visibility with recruiters. The first, optimize your headline. The second is add skills to your profile. You need to add at least 5 skills because LinkedIn tells us that members that have at least 5 skills get 27 times more profile views. This boosts your placement in search results and also sets up your applications for success because the skills that you possess that match the role that you applied to are highlighted on your candidate profile card. And I know that you probably don't know what that is, but a candidate profile card is a snapshot that recruiters see. I'm going to show you, this is like directly from LinkedIn. This is what a candidate profile card looks like. It is a snapshot recruiters see of your application in their dashboard. It is often the first and the only glimpse that they get of you as an applicant. And so you can see here what all it includes. It includes your job titles, your job dates, this skills match that you see right here that says 3 out of 10 skills match the job posting. This is what I'm talking about. LinkedIn is telling recruiters in a quick snapshot whether you possess the skills for the role or not based on the skills that they've added to the job posting. So anytime you optimize your profile and you add skills that directly relate to and match your target job, those show up in your candidate profile card and give a recruiter a quick glimpse of, hey, this person is qualified for this role because they match 3 out of 10 or 5 out of 10 or 7 out of 10 skills for the job. Now, how do you find the skills? There used to be a resume builder feature on LinkedIn. They have since removed that. If you have the LinkedIn Premium, you can use their AI tool that says, am I a match for this job? I was playing around with it earlier. Problem is, it just says, yes, you're a match or no, you're a match based on what's already in your profile. That doesn't really help you to identify what you need to add to your profile to actually position yourself as a match. So my recommendation is you copy that job description and you paste it into an AI program like Claude or ChatGPT, and you say, hey, pull up the highest priority hard skills in this role, or the most important hard skills in this role. Ideally, you want to take 3 to 5 job descriptions from your target companies. So your ideal roles at your ideal companies, copy and paste all of those into GPT or Claude, and ask it to pull up the hard skills that are most relevant to each role, and then also cross-reference which ones show up in all 3 positions or all 5 positions, and then go back and add those to your LinkedIn profile. And when you add those skills to your profile in your headline, your about section, and the skills section, make sure that when you start typing them in and it pops up and it says project management or human resources, payroll, or whatever the skill is, make sure you're actually selecting the pop-up, because that directly relates back to the LinkedIn skills database of 65,000 skills. And that's how it gets attached to your profile into the job description. So it's really important that you do that. All right. And then number 3 for optimizing your profile for recruiter views is to make sure that you complete your entire work experience section. You need to fill out your work experience section with quantifiable achievements, because most people just put their job title, the company name, and their dates of employment, and they don't actually fill out the details of their accomplishments in that role. LinkedIn tells us that if you do this, it doubles your profile views. Recruiters and your network need to know what you've accomplished so that they can make informed decisions about you when making referrals or when deciding whether to reach out to you. LinkedIn tells us that most profiles, again, only include that job title, company name, and employment dates. Yet their data reveals that when you complete the work experience section, you are doubling your profile views. Those 3 actions alone, once completed, will boost your profile views by 1,000% or more. So be sure to check your profile views after you, well, probably before, so you can see what they are now, and then after you make the changes so you can see what kind of boost you're getting. When I originally started making these changes to my husband's profile when he launched his job search, he saw an 8,500% increase in profile views and had recruiters reaching out within 24 hours for interviews, and he quadrupled his network size. Melissa, one of my LinkedIn Unlocked course students, made these same changes, saw 12,000% boost in her profile views from recruiters. She landed 2 interviews and an offer within 1 week. Jason, another LinkedIn profile student of mine, saw a 2,000% increase in his profile views, and 2 weeks later received multiple interview requests from recruiters. There are so many other features that not only boost your profile views, but also help you connect to the right people at the right time who will actually respond to your outreach messages. Tools like the alumni feature, company connections, and your job search or job seeking preferences in your profile settings. There's not enough time today in this live for me to share all the features on LinkedIn that you can leverage to improve your job search results. I dive into that a lot deeper in my LinkedIn Unlocked course. There's more than 50 of these tools, strategies, settings, and features for optimizing your profile for recruiter visibility. You can get access to those inside my LinkedIn Unlocked course. It opens for enrollment today. If you're on this live, you can access that course here. I'm including the URL for you. And you can also use this promo code HIRE25 to get $75 off of my LinkedIn Unlocked course. That's good for 48 hours for you if you're attending this live. All right, so now let's talk about a few quick settings and strategies that you can use to greatly enhance the effectiveness of your applications. So the first three strategies I shared were all about optimizing your profile for searches so that you can get found and get discovered by recruiters. These four strategies are for optimizing your application so that when you apply to a job on LinkedIn, the information that the recruiter sees is going to be more effective and is going to stand out. And we want to do that because we know that hundreds or if not thousands of people are applying to every job that's getting posted on LinkedIn. So any way that you can signal to recruiters that you're more likely to respond, any way that you can put a spotlight on your profile that says, hey, I'm the best qualified candidate for this role, I'm the best fit for the role, we want to do that. And so here are four ways that you can do that. And if you have questions, because it's just me on the live today and I'm trying to power through a lot of information at one time, I'm not able to see everyone's comments. But if you put your question in the comments section, I'm going to do my best to get through as many as I can at the end of the live. So go ahead and ask your questions and I'll do my best to answer those at the end. All right, so let's talk about these four strategies and features you can use. First is turning on the I'm interested feature. And it is essentially a button that you can turn on a company's page. What I'm going to do real quick is see if I can share my screen with you so that you can see what I am talking about. Let's see. Share screen. All right, hopefully you guys can see this. I'm on LinkedIn right now. I'm going to LinkedIn's company page because I want to show you the feature that I'm talking about. If you click on About and you scroll down, you're going to see a section that says interested in working with us in the future. Members who share that they're interested in a company may be 2 times as likely to get a message from a recruiter than those who don't. All you have to do is click this I'm interested button and it says, hey, you've expressed interest privately, and it shares your profile with recruiters. And so basically on the back end, on the candidate profile card, it's going to show that you're interested in the company. Give me just a second. I'm going to take down this banner so that you guys can see it. So here where it says interest, high likelihood of interest, because this person is open to work. They have the active talent spotlight and it says interested in your company because that means this candidate clicked this I'm interested button, interested in working with us in the future. So let's go back here. All right. It's not letting me do that. So we're going to go here. All right. So that's the first one. You want to turn on the I'm interested feature for every single one of your top target companies. You can also set up job alerts for a specific company and turn on that feature. And it notifies recruiters that you've set up alerts about their company. So again, it adds that I'm interested or interested in your company spotlight to your candidate profile card. And you want that on there because it lets them know, hey, this person's highly likely to respond if you reach out to them about this opportunity. The next one is you want to interact with your target company's pages and content because this turns on another spotlight on your candidate profile card that recruiters see when you apply to a job that says, hey, this person is interested in your company. They're interacting with your company. They're engaged with your brand. And again, it's another signal, hey, this person's highly likely to respond if you reach out to them. Why is it so important for recruiters to know that you're likely to respond if they were to reach out to you? There's a couple of reasons for that. One is that not every member on LinkedIn is active. And so recruiters don't want to waste their time reaching out to job seekers who aren't active on the platform or haven't logged in years or months for that matter. The second reason for that is that recruiters only get a limited number of in-mail messages, similar to what you get, whether you have a premium profile or a standard profile. You only get a limited number of in-mail messages. recruiters only get a limited number of in-mail messages. And if they're trying to fill more than one role, they're trying to optimize their in-mail messages to make sure that they're only reaching out to job seekers and candidates that are actually going to respond to them. So LinkedIn has given them all of these signals and spotlights to say, hey, you're not going to waste your time and you're not going to waste your message if you reach out to this candidate. Now, the next one is actually a setting that you can turn on. I'm going to log back into LinkedIn real quick and share my screen with you guys so that you can see what I'm talking about. All right, I'm back on LinkedIn. I'm going to go to my settings and privacy. And I am going to scroll down to job seeking preferences. So I've gone to my privacy settings, I've gone to data privacy, and I've gone to job seeking preferences. I'm going to click signal your interest to recruiters at companies that you've set up a job alert for. So again, it hits that spotlight I was just telling you about, but you can also share your profile with the job poster. And then under job application settings, this is the important one because this feature or this setting alone hits like 3 different spotlights on your candidate profile card. It's share resume data with hirers. And you can upload your resume here. Make sure you remove your contact information like your email, your phone number, and your street address, or maybe just include a separate work email because you want to minimize the amount of information that scammers have access to. If there is a scammer that has purchased LinkedIn Recruiter, some of them do that. It's crazy, but they do. So maybe just include your job search email address that you're using. But you want to make sure that this feature is turned on, because when you turn on this feature, now the skills inside of this resume are available to recruiters when they're running searches. It will show up in the skills match. So let's say there's a skill on your resume that's not on your profile. It's going to ping in the search results so the recruiter will be able to see it. And then also this setting turned on says, hey, this candidate is active. They're actively looking right now on LinkedIn for jobs. And so it signals to the recruiter, again, you're active talent, you're actively job seeking, you're highly likely to respond if they reach out to you. And you want those settings turned on. All right. And then the last one is another strategy, and it's strategic commenting. And what a lot of people do is they hop on LinkedIn and they scroll and they read and they apply to jobs, but they don't engage and they don't comment on posts. There's a lot of different reasons for that. Some people don't know what to say. Some people have imposter syndrome. They're not sure what to say. They're afraid to say something for fear of saying the wrong thing or not being taken seriously, or just a myriad of reasons. Some people just don't even realize that this is a valid job search strategy. But LinkedIn tells us that commenting gets you 4 times more profile views. In addition to the increased profile views, it sets off another signal to recruiters on your candidate profile card that you're active on LinkedIn. Plus, recruiters see your comments and contact you. I cannot tell you the number of my LinkedIn Unlocked students that have landed interviews and job offers from this one strategy that I share inside my course. And I'm not talking about just logging on and saying, great post, I agree. That's not the kind of commenting I'm talking about. One of my students, Karen, she's a communications executive. She was one of the first ever students to take my course, never even applied to a job. She just started commenting on posts after we talked about it inside of the course. She went to industry relevant posts and started leaving thoughtful and insightful comments. She shared her expertise. She shared her advice. She shared her experience. And she landed 2 job offers from her comments within 30 days of starting commenting. Another one of my students, Manly, he's a senior technology director, had the exact same experience. He started leaving comments on industry news and posts, and a decision maker at his #1 target company saw his comments and reached out. He landed that current role because of this exact strategy. I share more inside my LinkedIn Unlocked course about how to comment and a strategic engagement plan, what that looks like inside the course. So let me go back and share this with you guys. No, we'll go back this way. All right. Inside my LinkedIn Unlocked course, I cover more than 50 different tools, features, and strategies that you can use to be more visible to recruiters, to get more interview invitations, to give your applications a competitive edge, similar to those 4 strategies that I shared today, so they don't get lost in the pile. My previous LinkedIn Unlocked students have had more than 3,000 job seekers come through the course. They have used it to increase their profile views by 1,000, 5,000, even up to 12,000%, like in the case the one student I was sharing with you about, to get interview invitations in as little as 24 to 48 hours. I've had several clients that have reported results like those, including my own husband, which is where I developed the majority of these strategies when I was originally helping him with his job search. We took his profile from ground zero, no connections whatsoever, and a completely empty profile to a job offer in 12 days, doing these exact things that I share inside the course. I've had other students, excuse me, who were business owners and entrepreneurs who used, excuse me, all the talking, who used what they learned inside the course to 10x their growth on LinkedIn and their network size. They've had interviews and job offers within days of implementing just 1 or 2 of the strategies that I teach inside this LinkedIn Live today, but also inside of the course. So if you want to better leverage LinkedIn so you get responses to your messages and your applications, more interviews and job offers, I teach you exactly how to do that inside my LinkedIn Unlock course, which I mentioned earlier, opens for enrollment today. So if you're on this LinkedIn Live, you can use the code HIRED25 to get the course for $70 off for the next 48 hours. My course is normally $197, but you can get it for $127 today using the code HIRED25 on my website, greatresumesfast.com/LinkedIn Unlocked. The URL is on the screen now, along with the code. Now that we have a few minutes, I'd like to open it up to Q&A and answer a few questions. So please feel free to share your questions in the comments, and I'll spend 5 to 10 minutes answering as many as I can. All right. Oh, so will a recording be available? Yes, absolutely. You could just come back to this event page on LinkedIn. You'll be able to watch the recording from the start all the way through, and you can get those 3 optimization strategies that I shared, along with the 4 things you can do to improve your applications and the visibility that the applications get on LinkedIn. All right. Okay. Joe asked, when you post on LinkedIn, do you use hashtags? When I use hashtags, I get a lot of spam messages. It depends on what hashtags you're using. So anytime you use the open to work hashtag, that gets a ton of spam because spammers have learned, or they're using AI to target posts and job seekers that use that hashtag. So I would use industry hashtags. Like I would use or search for posts that include those hashtags. Hashtags are kind of going away on LinkedIn. They're not as useful as they used to be. LinkedIn search filters have gotten to be really effective. So usually you can just type in a topic on LinkedIn in the search box and then filter by posts or people to find what you're looking for. All right. Let's see. Hi, Kelly. Hi, Scott. Hi, Allison. All right. Give me just a second. I'm looking through. Oh, yeah. Lauren. I love this comment. One thing I found helpful is to look at their profile, talking about recruiters that are scammers, because there are a lot of scams going on right now. There are a lot of people that are hacking into legitimate recruiter profiles that are inactive, pretending to be recruiters, and then trying to scam job seekers into sending them their resume so that they can then funnel them into resume writing services. I've actually had this happen to me as a career expert. I've been impersonated by people on LinkedIn and off platform where they've tried to get job seekers to spend money on scam services through Fiverr. So Lauren's tip is a great one. Definitely look to see how long it's been since their profile was created. Another thing is you can look at their activity. If they're leaving the same comment on multiple people's posts, I would say avoid that person. If they want you to go off platform to a Gmail email address or a Fiverr account, again, that is a hack. All right, let's see. What if you have more than one target job due to your experience? Yeah, so you want to be as targeted and as specific as you can be to your one target role. And I would say it just depends on how related they are. So if they're really similar, you could probably put both. If they're very different, I would say pick the one you want most and optimize everything for that role. You could add an undercurrent theme through of the other role too, but there needs to be one primary. Yeah, same thing, Tina. If you have more than one job title you're targeting due to your prior jobs, you could well, first, you're going to have those prior job titles in your work experience section. So it's going to pop up if a recruiter does a search for a specific job title. If you've held that job title in the past, like director or senior director, it's going to pull you up in search results because you have that job title already on your profile. So I would still say the one that you want next is the one you want in your headline. So if you're going for the VP role, if that's what you're prioritizing and your ideal role, put that in your headline, because those previous positions that you've had as a senior director or director is already going to populate in search results because you have that in there. Yeah, I feel that. I'm not sure who said this, but yeah, I would use market value titles if you know what those are. Basically, it's what that one position title would be across multiple different companies or roles. You want to use the market value title, which is the most likely or closest relevant title to the job that you want. Yep. Someone asked switchers, can your target role be different from your previous job titles? Absolutely. You can actually just include target job title. Let's say you're a project manager and you want to go into teaching. So, target job title, elementary education teacher, fifth grade language arts teacher, high school history teacher, whatever it is. I'm just using that as an example. But to be clear that there's a transition, you can do that. You don't have to do that, but some people are more comfortable doing that. All right, let's see. I would agree. It is an unprecedented job market right now. How do I recommend hiring? Optimizing the headline using that formula that I shared. Target job title, three high priority hard skills, personal branding statement. Yep. You can only include a few skills in your headline. I recommend 5 to 10 max in your about section, but you can include up to 100 skills in your skills section. Allison said, do recruiters see when I click that the job they posted is one of my 3 preferred jobs for the month? Okay, so if you're talking about the top choice badge, which is a LinkedIn premium feature, yes, absolutely they can see that. And it literally puts a little badge on your candidate profile card that says top choice. And it includes the little excerpt that you put when you get to select a job as top choice. It says, why is this job a top choice for you? Please let the person know. And it gives them that information, exactly what you put in there for why it's a top job for you. So they do see that, and it does stand out. It's huge. It's not like a little tiny blip. It's like being there's a badge on it. You can't miss it. And of course, curiosity gets the best of people. They want to read that to see what you said. Marcus said, why are LinkedIn recruiters looking more for hard skills instead of soft skills in the headline section? I would think this would vary upon the job you apply for. Because when recruiters are doing searches, they don't search for candidates based on soft skills. We don't put things like communicator, excellent communication skills, team player, leadership into the search results. We're looking for professional, academic, and technical skills to narrow down candidates that are a good fit for the role. Typically, evaluation for soft skills comes later in the hiring process. So initially, they're trying to whittle down the sheer bulk number of candidates that are out there to a smaller select group of candidates, and they're using hard skills to do that. This isn't really a question, but if you have time to read this, this is great because I don't have time to go into the whole networking aspect of using LinkedIn as a networking tool, but it is important. Today, my strategies were focused on optimizing your profile and putting spotlights on your application. I did see that a couple of people posted, I've done all of these things. Some of the things that I shared today are brand new. They haven't been around a long time. So if you've done them, it must have been within the last like week or two. And I don't know that that's really enough time for them to be effective. So you can also toggle job alerts and the share resume with all recruiter feature. You can toggle that off and on, and it resets the alert to the company. So if you haven't tried that, maybe try doing that as well. All right, let's see. Someone else said, oh, should you put your entire work experience or only, I would only put the last 10 to 15 years because that's what's most relevant. Recruiters aren't really looking for positions past that. If you include more than that, then you open the door to ageism, which is a whole other issue. Fiorella said, what length is recommended? I would say the last 10 to 15 years of your work experience. I didn't see Lauren's original question, but in the concern for ageism, I always advise only the last 10 to 15 years of work experience and not adding dates to your graduation. Where can you add up to 100? In the skills section. So within the actual skills section on your profile is where you can put all 100 skills, Laura. And you can also attach them to specific roles, to specific certifications. And you want to take the time to do that, especially for your high priority hard skills, because on your candidate profile card, the recruiter can hover over the skill for the skill match and they can see how long you've had that skill listed on your profile if you don't have it attached to a certification, a credential, or a position or education. And if you do have it attached, then it shows them exactly what role you use that skill in. Yeah, unfortunately, Jennifer, there's a lot of scammers out there. And when you put up the open to work badge, especially that green banner, you can pretty much bank on the first 2 weeks after you turn that banner on of nothing but scammers messaging you. Any recommendations while showing a career break? Yes, optimize whatever you've been doing during that time as though it were a position, adding skills and all of that. All right, let's see. Editing the previous work history the way you described, does that not duplicate the resume info? You're not going to copy and paste your resume info into your LinkedIn profile. I don't really talk about LinkedIn profile writing in this session because this is more about strategies for searching, for optimizing, for getting in front of recruiters. But one of the best LinkedIn profile writing strategies is to use first person narrative. You're telling the story of your career. So you're writing with first person pronouns. You're telling the story of how you came into that role, why you chose to work there, why it's a good fit. You're sharing accomplishments, and it's all written in first person to make that connection with the person that's actually reading it. Tycho said, do you offer the course also for international customers? I'm based in Switzerland. Yes, absolutely. International job seekers can use this course the same as US-based ones. All the same strategies apply, and you have access to virtually all the same tools, features, and settings that we have here in the United States. Vladimir asked, is the material part of the month? No, LinkedIn Unlocked is a separate course that is not part of our Job Seeker Central membership program if you're inside of that. Someone asked, in the LinkedIn course, can these techniques be used with the free version of LinkedIn, or do they have to be with the premium version? No, every strategy, feature, and tool I share, you can use in the free version of LinkedIn. You do not have to have LinkedIn Premium to use any of the information that I've shared inside the LinkedIn Unlocked course. I only share one or two strategies specific to premium. There are additional add-on strategies like using the top choice badge that people with premium would have access to, but it doesn't affect any of the other content inside of the course. Okay. It's okay if the skills inside of your LinkedIn profile and resume match. It's just better optimization. Kind of like how when you're SEO optimizing your website for a specific keyword, you don't just have that keyword on your website one time, you have it multiple times in different places. So I might have executive resume writer in my website title, I might have it in the headline on the homepage, and I might have it inside the content on the website homepage. Very similar concept with your resume that is uploaded to your LinkedIn profile, and the hard skills on your profile and the content inside of your profile. I'm not saying pack your profile or your resume with the same keyword 100 times. That's not the advice I'm giving, but it is not going to cause any harm if it's listed 2 or 3 times. Having too many skills listed a bad thing. No, you can list up to 100 skills on your profile. All right. Yep, Brenda asked, it's my understanding your LinkedIn profile should not replicate your resume. Please advise. Yep, that's exactly what I was talking about earlier. You want to write in a first person career narrative format. All right, let's see. When you reach the max, Jennifer said, when you reach the max number of companies you're interested in, it is extremely time consuming to drop interest. You have to go through every job you apply to. I think you can just delete the job alerts, and after a year, the I'm interested feature drops off. So let's say I went to LinkedIn and I clicked I'm interested in the company. After a year, it resets. So you would have to actually go back in and toggle that back on. But I've seen career experts recommend toggling it on and off every 2 to 3 weeks to reset the signal on the back end for recruiters for your top target companies. But I wouldn't say do that for 100 companies. That's not sustainable. I mean, you just can't spend enough time doing that. But for the first 5 to 10, absolutely. Sorry about being on the wrong screen, guys. I'm a one-person show, so I was doing my best to get through the screens and like share with you guys the different information. So sorry that didn't work out. I appreciate your patience. A lot of nonprofits don't seem to have the interested in working with us option on their website. Any ideas on that? So not every company will have that feature available on their website or on their LinkedIn About page. What I would do in place of that is interacting with their content that they post and any content that employees post. And you can see the employees on their company page, especially if they're posting trending content. In fact, if they have employees on there posting trending content, I would be interacting with those employees and the content that they're posting because that's very strategic engagement. All right, let's see. When you suggest interaction, is that a like button click or post a comment? I'm talking about posting a comment that will give you the most bang for your buck when it comes to job searching. All right, let's see. How helpful is the open to work tag on the profile? Does it help a new seeker? I would turn on the open to work setting on the back end that shows recruiters only that you're open to work. If you turn on the green open to work badge right now, the way that things are going, you're going to be inundated with scammers for about 2 weeks. People just messaging you who are trying to scam you. If you can make it through those first 2 weeks, then you're going to start getting legitimate recruiters reaching out to you. I had a client I was working with like a month ago, and he was like, I turned it on, I'm getting inundated. This is just crazy. And after 2 weeks, he started getting legitimate recruiters messaging him. And he was like, oh my gosh, it really does work to to turn this on. But boy, do you have to deal with a lot of scammers that are messaging you in the interim. So Lauren wrote that she's done a ton of networking and outreach, and she's actually been surprised about how many people don't respond. And so I want to address this, and I go into this extensively in the course because this is one of the things that I hear from a lot of job seekers about their outreach efforts on LinkedIn. There's a lot of different things at play here. One, not everyone is active on LinkedIn. So if you're messaging someone on LinkedIn and they're not active, they're not logging in on a weekly basis, then you're not going to get a reply to your message because they're likely only on LinkedIn once a month or they haven't been on it in months or a year. So you have to make sure that when you do outreach, you're actually reaching out to people who are active on LinkedIn. That includes hiring managers, employees, industry connections, whatever the case may be. The second thing is LinkedIn messages only get a 20 to 40% response rate. And I say only, but if you compare that to the response rate that applications get, which is like 1%, sending messages is a lot higher. Our expectations are just different. When we apply to a job, we don't expect that we're going to hear back from every job we apply to. We just know that it's a numbers game or that there's lots of other candidates that are applying. But when we send a message to a hiring manager or a recruiter or a network contact, we expect that person to reply because that's common courtesy. But people don't reply for a lot of reasons. Maybe you sent a really long message and it had so many different questions or requests in it that they're just not sure where to even get started or how to help. Two, life happens. Maybe they're busy. Maybe they read it and then they meant to respond, but they got interrupted and then they forgot and they didn't come back to it. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes my friends will send me a text message or my work colleagues in the group chat will send a message and I'll be like, oh, I'm right in the middle of something and I can't respond to that. I want to, but because I can't do it in the moment, I move on to something else and then I get distracted and I forget to go back to it. And so there's a lot of value in follow-up messages and just realizing that it's not always personal. We don't always know what's going on the back end with somebody. And that's why we don't put all of our job search eggs in one basket. It's why we don't put all of our expectations or rely solely on one single message going out to one single person. When my husband was working on getting into a nonprofit executive role, we didn't just message one person in his target company. No, we spread out. We found the person who posted the job. We found the person in charge of hiring. He messaged the CEO, which I know is bold, and some people are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you would do that. That's harassment, blah, blah, whatever. The CEO accepted his LinkedIn request and messaged him back, and he got an interview. So it's what you're comfortable with. But I would say if I'm an aggressive job seeker and I'm in a proactive job search, I'm not just messaging the hiring manager or the recruiter. I'm looking for connections with employees at the target company. I'm talking to my inner circle and I'm saying, hey, do you know anyone that you can introduce me to inside any of these companies on my target company list? I'm working multiple different angles at one time. You can't put all of your efforts into just one message to one person. Not saying you are, Lauren. I'm just saying I hear that from people a lot as their biggest objection to outreach. And I get it. It's so frustrating when you spend time crafting a message and then people don't respond because you expect common courtesy, professional courtesy, and someone to respond. But there's just a lot of different reasons why they don't. All right, let's see. Thank you guys for yeah. Thank you for this, Jesse. Thank you for that. Allison, thank you. Oh, I'm so glad. Allison, yeah, I'm so glad. You're welcome. Tycho, I can help international people with the course. We just don't with our one-on-one executive resume writing services. Ooh, Stephanie, this is a great question. I'm going to take this question and one more. You receive many sales and higher learning email messages. I ignore those. Does that hurt my chances from searching? No. But if recruiters are messaging you and you're not responding, then that affects it. Because Recruiter has the LinkedIn Recruiter platform, which is like their internal tool for outreach. And that's how they determine like whether you're responding to messages from recruiters or not. LinkedIn can see what messages recruiters are sending out and determine their effectiveness, see whether they're scamming people, stuff like that. So no, it only matters if you're responding to recruiter messages, not those sales messages. You can delete those. That's totally fine. And then last one, Carmen asked, can I summarize the tips? I missed the first half. Actually, Carmen, you can go back to this page and watch the replay as soon as I end the stream, which I am going to go ahead and do right now. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. I really appreciate the time that you took. Thank you for the positive comments and feedback. I do this as a labor of love. It's one of my greatest passions to share LinkedIn job search tips with job seekers because there is a lot of good still here on the platform. There's a lot of ways that you can use it to advance your job search, to have an effective job search. I see it with the thousands of job seekers that I help every single day through my membership, through the course, one-on-one, through family members and friends that I help with their job searches. It still works. It is a very effective tool in your job search if you know what's going on the back end and how to leverage that for an effective job search. So I appreciate your time today. Please, if you have time and you want to learn more about LinkedIn and how to leverage it in your job search, I teach so much more inside the 6 modules of my LinkedIn Unlocked class. You can go to the URL that is on the screen and you can use the code HIRE25 if you're on this live today to get $70 off for the next 48 hours. I hope you'll join me. It's self-paced. You can get started right away. You can learn more about all the strategies that I shared today, plus many, many more inside of the course. And if you have any questions that I didn't get to on the live or information that I wasn't able to get to, please just leave me a comment. I try to go in after the show and answer as many questions as possible because I just love talking about LinkedIn. So I hope you guys had a great time, and I'll see you next time.